Welcome to SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Schif me, Sarah.
And we are two Americans living in Sweden, talking about the football game. The off-season of the sport we love, the football game. This is a not-so-fun time of the year, but a lot is always going on. And we're here to talk about it, give a nice update, off-season update. What's up, man? How you doing?
Congratulations to your Florida Panthers for winning.
That's what we do. That's what we do, man.
Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. That's pretty impressive.
No surprise here, man. Florida is where hockey. If you grow up in Florida, you know hockey is our it's what we breathe. It's what we eat, what we drink. And now is where we champion 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And Floridians, we're not known for repeating ourselves. But in sports, we kind of do it, man. Dolphins did it, Heat did it, and now Panthers. So where you at, Marlins? Where you at, Marlins? You're up. Gators did it. Back-to-back championships in basketball. You know.
Yeah.
The U, I mean, it goes on. Florida is just, yeah.
You know, it was just a matter of time, really, before the Florida Panthers, sort of just took hold of the hockey world, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of time before those Floridians realized, like, oh shit, it's actually nice and cold in here.
Yeah.
With this big sheet of ice. We like this. This is nice.
I was talking about that with people. It was Midsummer was this past weekend, and I don't know. People don't understand that somebody like me from the South doesn't like to be outside when it's hot. It's just not what we do, man. You might think when you go there on vacation, you go out and you go and do shit outside. What we do is we go from car to air conditioned building from air conditioned building back to car, back from car to air conditioned home. It's like we don't fuck around with the heat like that. It's not our thing. We want to go to the beach maybe, but it's not really our thing.
I agree. I think there is this misconception that we are somehow built for that heat and humidity. And what people don't realize is no. We have strategical maneuvers that we have been employing our entire lives in an effort to avoid that heat and humidity.
We mastered the avoidance.
Yeah.
Swedes should understand that. The way they deal with conflict.
They really should, actually.
Yeah, man. But how was your Midsummer?
Midsummer was good. You know, it's been quite a run of celebrations over here. We had Isak graduated from
shout out,
high school or whatever they call it, studenten. He did that, and then Saga turned 21, which I know is not a big deal here because
she's been drinking since she was 12.
Yeah, exactly. Just like her old man. But yeah, she's very much looking forward to when we go to the States. I told her, I was like, we have to go to a liquor store so you can flash your ID because it means something over there that you're 21.
Yeah. I like teasing Sandra's family members that are like getting close to 18. And I always say to them, man, soon you'll be able to taste alcohol. They all look at me like, get the fuck out of here. You'll taste it, man. You're going to taste it, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, buddy, are you in for an interesting taste?
Are you in for what? You're hungover. What? Yeah, man. But yeah, we did our thing that we always do, man. Go out to the summer house and do the whole dance around the maypole and all that stuff. So good times.
Right.
Good time. I always make a breakfast griddle. Did it. Do my thing.
We had an interesting thing that occurred. I don't remember if that was before Midsummer. One of the parties that we had, my wife's cousin has recently discovered that she did one of these DNA tests.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out Joanna's father now has a sister that he didn't know about.
Ooh.
So like his dad was
Rolling Stone.
so he has two. This is his third surprise sister.
Damn.
One of them he found out when he was like in his 40s. The other one I think he found out in his 50s, and now here he is in his 70s finding out about a third one.
Jeez.
So it's kind of fascinating.
Man. These DNA things, man. We did on my other podcast, we did a thing about the adoption thing, how they had this whole expose on adoption in Sweden.
That shit was crazy, bro. I followed that story.
Yeah, this guy, this comedian I know, was adopted from Colombia, and he got the whole story of poor mom had to get rid of the kid, couldn't take care of it, and then Swedes came in to the rescue, saved him, but it turns out he was kidnapped from his.
This story is so crazy.
Yeah, so
it's so crazy.
Yeah, so he was. And he found out through MyHeritage DNA.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he did his DNA thing. That's how he got connected to somebody. He's like, oh shit, I got a cousin, and then reached out, and the cousin knows the mom and all stuff. And then turns out that their cousin was adopted in Netherlands or something like that. And then next thing you know, they realize they get in touch with the mom. MyHeritage thinks it's cool that you used our service and you found your sibling. So they looked into it, and then all of a sudden they find out, oh no, they took my child.
Wow.
Yeah, he went all the way to Colombia and found out he was stolen as a kid.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Shout
out to DNA tests.
I kind of want to do this. Sometimes I feel like I must have been kidnapped. Considering, like, I don't know. I just felt like I've wound up so different from the rest of my family. I don't know how that happened.
Do it, man. Man. I did one. That's how I found out I even made a joke about it, about finding out my roots. That's true that I found out I'm not 36% Nigerian, 33 Sierra Leone, all of that stuff. 6% Scandinavian. That's all true. So it's a fun thing, man. I don't put too much. I don't know how accurate I think it is.
Right.
But I guess they have some type of reason. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool stuff.
We're both obviously. Are you going to the States soon? Yeah.
No, I don't plan on it.
Where are you going?
Fall. I'm going on a train trip around around Europe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm going down as far south as the south of France, and then coming back up to Sweden. Going out to Germany, Switzerland, France, Amsterdam, and then back up.
Dope.
Yeah, but I'm not going. I don't know if I'm going to the States. I don't know if I want to go to the States.
Yeah, dude, it's so hot there right now too. We're going end of July, first 2 weeks of August. So the hottest time.
Damn, bro.
No, but you're right though. It is a little weird. It's like even before all this stuff that's been happening over the last couple of days, it's like, I'm sitting down to fill out this paperwork so that Joanna can get in the fucking country for 2 weeks. And I'm like, what are they?
Yeah.
I mean, you would think they'll be fine with Swedish people, but still, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer because all our families are there, It's like you want to see your family and all that stuff. And my friends and stuff are all freaking out. Because now my friends are the age that their kids, some of them are in the military or military, age.
Yeah.
That's how old I'm getting. And I'm like, oh, my son just enlisted. Oh, no. And I'm like, yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They don't do wars anymore. They just attack. So then they can't.
Yeah. We're not at war with Iran. We're at war with their nuclear program.
Yeah.
So apparently we can do this like cafeteria style. We can just right? We just pick and choose.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. I think they changed it once they made it the war on terror, where there's no actual definitive goal. So it could just keep going on. So, woo, yay! At least we have football.
It's true.
We have football.
Sort of. How many? Actually, I meant to look this up before we started, but I forgot. How many How many days do we have before the NFL season starts? It's not that far away, right?
That's a good question. Isn't it like the first?
I feel like ChatGPT could answer that quickly.
Yeah.
Do that.
Okay.
Because we're definitely under 100 days because I remember reading an article about that a couple weeks ago. It's got to be.
It's Thursday, September 4th.
73 days.
Yep, 73 days.
What? Did I guess that?
Yeah, you were spot on. I thought you looked it up. I looked it up.
No, dude, I totally. That was a total guess.
Well done, man.
Let's fucking go.
Skip guessing the days.
Okay, let's just do that for the rest of the episode. Just guess dates.
Yeah, man. Super Bowl, go.
Oh, shit. Okay, before we get started on NFL news, it's been a minute since I've been able to say these words. But Jonathan, I have a DeAndre Baker update.
Oh, what?
Yes. The man who is in many ways the patron saint of this podcast.
Yes.
Is back in the news. We have followed this man's journey from the University of Georgia.
Got us through the pandemic, man.
To the NFL, to the bizarre off-season barbecue Madden arm robbery incident.
Shenanigans.
That turned out to be a extortion attempt.
Yeah.
And to ruin DeAndre Baker's, I don't know if he had a good name, but whatever, he had a name.
I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed.
He tried to make it back into the league at one point, as you remember, but he ultimately flamed out after a gruesome leg injury when he was playing with the Chiefs. But today, this story finally has its happy ending.
Okay. Oh, he got caught in a massage parlor?
No. No, sir.
I'm sorry.
My man, former Bulldog DeAndre Baker, is now officially a UFL champion.
What?
With the mighty DC Defenders. The DC Defenders defeated the Michigan Panthers 58-34.
Damn. A lot of points. Jeez.
And there are rumors that he is jockeying to try and get back into the NFL.
Of course.
So we'll see how that goes.
Wow, congrats to him, man.
But I thought that was funny that he
happy ending, man. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry.
Not so happy ending story. We haven't spoken. This happened since the last time we talked, but probably one of the more significant stories that's happened in the last couple of weeks is the death of longtime Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay.
Jim Irsay died?
Jim Irsay is dead.
What?
At the age of 65. He was having a lot of weird health problems.
Oh shit.
Old Jim lived a hard life.
I'm sure.
So Jim Irsay will be remembered for a lot of strange things. Purchasing Ringo Starr's drum set for $2.2 million. 2014, he got arrested with a car full of pills and 30 grand in cash. There was that time that he refused to pay Jonathan Taylor while agreeing to pay millions of dollars to transport a whale across the country to get it back to the ocean somehow. And then when the whale died, he suddenly decided to pay Jonathan Taylor, which was kind of funny. There was a story about his poor junkie girlfriend who OD'd in a house that he had bought for her. But what I will remember him for the most was, he's a great example of one of these guys who good people can do bad things, but they also have goodness in their heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he played a huge role in getting rid of the Dan Snyder shaped cancer from the National Football League, right? This was in the middle of this independent investigation into Dan Snyder and all the shit that he had done. All of the dirt had been documented, and Roger Goodell had told the independent investigator that a written report was not going to be necessary. They were 100% getting ready to sweep this thing under the rug, and they were revealing all this information at an owners meeting. And as soon as the meeting was over, Irsay walked out of the room, went straight to the press pool, and said, "This dude's bad for the league. We should probably get rid of him." Oof. He went rogue. We didn't know it at the time, but that was really the first crack in the dam that brought an end to the Dan Snyder era. I don't think it happens without Irsay.
Nice.
So yeah, weird dude. Did some shady things throughout his life, but ultimately,
what billionaire hasn't?
He did get his life together. He did a lot of good things. He helped a lot of people. And now I believe his daughters are taking over the team.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. This season will be the first season without Jim Irsay.
Have you seen that clip when R.I.P. Jim Irsay first and foremost? But have you seen that clip where Jerry Jones is sitting with Jamie Foxx and they're looking at the team and he's talking about the players he brought in? And Jamie Foxx goes live. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm chilling with Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones talking about, man, that guy, this guy, man, he's fast, man. And he's like, man, you should see the dick on that guy, man. That guy got a big old dick. And then Jamie Foxx he turns off the live. He's like, no. He turned that shit right off, man. Goddamn, Jerry. Jerry's over here. That's all the comparisons to slave auctions and stuff that they do with the draft, and then that's the last thing you need as an owner talking about a dick size of a player.
Exactly. Speaking of giant-sized dicks, the other big story that happened recently, Aaron Rodgers has officially signed with the Steelers, 1-year deal. Kind of feels like end of the road, last chance to cement the legacy.
I wish I had the music for that. Boom, boom, boom. the voice to men.
I can only imagine that Steelers fans have like mixed feelings about this.
Yeah, it probably depends on the type of fan. I think there's no in between, and it goes right with the polarity of this guy. That people are probably like, yeah, it's his last go around. He's gonna be good. He had a couple good games last year with the Jets, but now he's got a good coach behind him. Or the people that are like, what the fuck are we doing? This is the last straw for Mike Tomlin. And it seems out of character for Mike Tomlin, if I'm going to be honest. To go,
I agree.
How you kick George Pickens off the team and then bring in Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, I think that's my main takeaway. I'm genuinely concerned for the whole coaching staff. I mean, you got Tomlin. I mean, I also am not really sure I understand how Aaron Rodgers and former Falcons head coach Arthur Smith, who's the offensive coordinator over there, I really don't know how those two are going to work together. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I don't know. I feel like Mike Tomlin's never going to lose his locker room, but this might be as close as we get. And this might just be time for a full-on reset, man, where he goes somewhere else, the Steelers do something new, and everybody gets success in the end. And maybe, like, I don't know, Mike McCarthy comes in or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Some old seasoned coach comes in that can take over from Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I think the only person who's excited about Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers is probably Myles Garrett. I think he can't wait to sack Aaron Rodgers.
He will.
Let's see.
You go to the AFC North. What are you doing? Aaron?
He doesn't. I don't. Yeah. I don't.
Hey, Ron, where are you?
It's a weird fit. I don't see him as a Steeler.
I was shocked. But we knew it was going to happen when they didn't make any moves at quarterback. I was still shocked when they did it. Like, they really did it.
And when they scheduled Steelers at Jets week 1, you knew this was coming. More signing. The Texans have signed former Browns, but more importantly, my man, former Bulldog running back Nick Chubb to a 1-year deal.
What?
I kind of love this for him. He gets out of Cleveland.
Yeah.
He goes to a team that I don't hate. That I don't really feel anything about the Texans, to be honest. And he doesn't have to be the main guy because he'd be splitting reps with Joe Mixon. I think it's a dream scenario for Nick Chubb.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's going to be great.
I don't know if it gets.
It's good for CJ Stroud as well, who had kind of a little bit of a slump, as they say, and then now you get to have more of a safety blanket there. It's good.
It's funny when you think about it from the perspective of like the Texans making deals with the Browns. I mean, the Texans fans must love. It's like you took.
I didn't even think about that.
You took this problem child, Deshaun Watson, off our hands. Thanks for that. And then you just handed us one of your most beloved players. Because it's the Browns are just a train wreck of an organization.
And the Texans really were kind of a laughingstock that one season when they got fleeced and with the Tunzel deal and and then they lost the first picks and all of that shit, and then they just turned around and did it to somebody else, and now they're still winning these transactions every time. Now. It's quickly they turn things around, man.
Yeah, and they have the benefit of playing in a weak division, so it's like
that too.
But
the generational quarterback in that division that they got to watch out for.
That's true.
Who now has Travis Hunter to deal with.
Yeah, and we don't know about Cam Ward. He might be this year's Jaden Daniels. He might turn the Titans around immediately. Yep. I mean, he's got that. He has that U in him.
Yeah.
So we know that. What else we got? Jair Alexander got released by the Packers and then signed with the Ravens.
Oh.
The all-pro cornerback will be reuniting with his former Louisville teammate, Lamar Jackson. So that'll be interesting. Great player, but extensive injury history.
Yeah. Hasn't he not played a full season in like 5 years or something crazy?
He's missed literally half of his games since becoming a pro. 34 of 68.
Well, he's rested.
That's true.
He doesn't have a lot of miles on him because he can't get out the garage.
The few times that he has played a full season, he's been money. And let's just say, if everything goes according to plan, this DB room that they're putting together in Baltimore is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Right. Man. You got Nate Wiggins, who was a former first-round pick. Kyle Hamilton, who's a fucking stud.
Beast. Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey, also a badass.
Jeez.
This year's first-round pick, and my man, former Bulldog Malachi Starks, and then Jair Alexander. I mean, if all of that, if everybody stays healthy, and that's the kind of shit that can get you over the hump. You know what I mean?
But then Aaron Rodgers is there now in Pittsburgh, so that's 2 losses they got to deal with. Man, they are gonna. Hey, I got some bold predictions, man. When it comes to the Ravens,
that's a bold statement.
I got some coming when we start making our predictions. I really had some high hopes for them.
Yeah, me too. There's
no other team I want my Dolphins to play in the AFC championship game.
Okay. Dolphins are going to my takeaway from that statement was that the Dolphins are apparently in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, man. I won't feel so bad if we beat the Ravens to get to the Super Bowl.
Let's see. We got J.K. Dobbins signed to the Broncos.
Damn, third team already on this third team. Jeez. That was somebody, speaking of high hopes, man. Thought he was going to be that guy.
He really fun player last year with the Chargers. I thought he was a pretty good fit with the Chargers. But yeah, you know how they do these running backs.
Yeah.
We have some news regarding rule changes. Probably the most interesting story, or certainly the most talked about story, was this effort to ban the tush push.
Yeah.
The tush push has survived a rather furious debate, but only barely, really. You need 24 votes. Exactly. You need 24 votes to pass a new rule, and they got 22.
Jeez. Come on. Imagine if they did that like the no more reverses. Or like when the Wildcat was the craze. If they wouldn't have figured it out, they would have been like, all right, no more direct snaps to the running back. That's so lame. So lame. Instead of just figuring out how to stop it. And then to put it on injuries. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't think they had a very good argument. And also they ran into two issues. One, nobody believed that the league was concerned about injuries.
Yeah.
The other problem was they tried to tweak the rule change proposal kind of at the last minute to eliminate any kind of pushing forward. Which, we see that all the time.
Yeah,
in
with
the
these
game.
little rugby scrum type things.
Yeah, or like, a player gets held up and then the lineman comes in and pushes him. Yeah, so where it's sort of spontaneous, it's not really planned or whatever.
Right.
And that became kind
Maybe
of
that's what they
problematic.
voted for. Okay. 22 is
the NFL has approved onside kicks in any quarter, since they changed the kickoff.
Oh, yeah.
You still have to obviously announce that you're doing an onside kick. So the surprise element is still gone, but they had changed it to where you could only do it in the fourth quarter. But now it's back. You can do it whenever the fuck you want.
Good. Imagine that's another thing. Making that change and then remember that watermelon kick worked a couple times? Like what if they would have instead of taking that away? Like it's just like it's so dumb. It's as dumb as taking away the tush push.
I still have nightmares about the watermelon kick because it worked against
the
Falcons, and they're just like staring at it like,
wow,
hypnosis. In Georgia, like they had never seen a watermelon before. Like, come on, guys.
Hypnosis is real, man.
Crazy. We already talked about NFL players or they've voted to allow them to compete in the Olympics. We talked about that already.
Yeah. Did they make a rule on beating their wives? Is that did they? That's
still. I mean, it's still illegal technically. But you can do it. You can do it as long as nobody finds out.
Okay.
So
right. Cool. Interesting.
The Lions playoff reseeding proposal, which I don't know. It didn't. It got tabled. They didn't vote on it. I had mixed feelings about this one. We never really talked about it, but it was this idea that it would eliminate the. Like we had a situation this past year
the wild
in
card.
the playoffs where you had the 11
and the Bucks hosting a game,
something Rams playing off against the 14 and 2 Vikings and things like that. I kind of tend to not like this idea because it sort of devalues the division matchups.
You think so?
Yeah, because in that scenario, when the Rams played the Vikings, they would have had to play. They wouldn't have home field advantage. I think you win your division. Basically, they were saying like winning your division is not an automatic home game.
That's what I agree with. I agree with that. I think if you win your division, if you got a shitty division, you win that division. What you get for winning the division is making it to the playoffs. Now, if you have the fourth best record, then you get a home game.
The problem I have with that argument is, what if you flip it? What if you have that 14-win season because you're in a shitty division, and you have that 11-win season because your division is so good, right? Mm-hmm. So then it just feels, I don't know. I agree that, in most cases, yeah, I don't know. I just think I'm not sure about this one.
Or maybe if you win 10 or more games, you get a home game. But if you don't win 10 or more games, if you limp into the playoffs with an 8-9 record because your division sucked and people got hurt and shit like that, then you don't get a home game. Maybe that's the more fair one. But that goes season by season. They can't just structure it like that in the rules. It's probably why they shoved it. 'Cause I remember that year that the Saints got in to the. Oh no! The Saints had a really good record, and the Seahawks got in with a bad record because NFC West was bad. And everybody's like, man, they're gonna come into the playoffs with a losing record, and then or 8-8 or whatever it was, but that was when they beat the Saints though. But I think they were at home though. It was that run, the big Marshawn Lynch beast mode.
Oh, that was the beast. Yeah, the beast quake.
I don't know. It's tough.
They tweaked the overtime rules. Both teams will get a possession in overtime in the regular season. So basically, they took the playoff rule, and it now applies to all the games.
Yeah, it was dumb that it didn't.
They've expanded the replay assist. We've talked about this a little bit, but it's official now. I hate this. This is the officials will be able to review things like, face masks and roughing the kicker and horse collar tackles and stuff like that, but only if a flag has been thrown. So like a flag has been thrown, you can go, hold on a second. I don't think that was a penalty. But if they missed it, I mean, that was the whole point. Like we saw these plays last season, the one where it was like, how did they not see Sam Darnold getting his head ripped off? Yeah. So in that situation, you wouldn't be able to do anything.
What's the point?
It's half measure.
In 2 years, they'll do it in 2 years. But the thing that sucks is, I think what they don't want to do is change a rule based on one play that year. They're looking at it because of the play, and then in a couple of years they'll actually change it because of the play, but they don't want to look like they're just reactively. That's my guess. But eventually it should be like, come on, man. It was an obvious penalty. There's somebody watching every game in New York, and they're just like, yo.
It's such an easy fix.
Correct it quickly.
It's so easy. This Hawkeye camera measuring the first downs, this is going to be really interesting. Yeah. I feel like the league is going to figure out some kind of way to fuck this up. We'll see. Touchbacks will move to the 35-yard line this year.
Soon it's going to be touchbacks or touchdowns.
Yeah, touchbacks to the 50-yard line.
Automatic points. Field goal kick.
And then they should have fixed this a long time ago. This is a free agent proposal. This is like this. The proposal would allow teams to speak directly to free agents, during the league's March meeting. We have this whole like legal tampering, which is like, come on, guys, like just what are we doing here? Like the season's over. Yeah. Everybody should be able to just talk to everybody and do their fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So That's it on the rule changes as far as I know. Oh, one of the this is a cool, I like this. NFL to honor the league's best offensive lineman. They've created a new award called Protector of the Year Award.
Oh, I like that.
Totally. We've talked about this before. Like I said many times, you have so many awards in the National Hockey League, not just for different positions, but you even have like for different types of players who play similar positions, like a defensive offenseman. They have an award for that. Like an offensive player who's like has the best defensive style or whatever. Anyway, long overdue. I think they should start handing this thing out retroactively. I think they should go back in time and hand this thing out to all the best offensive linemen of the past however many years. Because it's like, how can you not have an award for what is, okay, we all know that it's not really fun or interesting to talk about the offensive line because most people don't even understand what they do. But you cannot win a Super Bowl without a good offensive line. Like you just can't.
Proved it. Chiefs proved it in against the Bucks when they lost to the Bucks. Nobody saw that coming, but offensive line wasn't up to it.
We got some Hard Knocks news.
Uh-oh.
The Buffalo Bills.
They're the Hard Knocks team?
Will be the team of Hard Knocks.
That's the last thing I needed, man. That's the last thing I needed when the team that rules my division is already beloved, and now it's just going to get out of hand. God damn it.
And you got Josh Allen getting married this summer. And it's like, so you got that. They're going to talk about the DeMar Hamlin thing, even though it was 2 years ago. Also, the in-season Hard Knocks will feature the NFC East.
Okay. So it's so hard to watch that, man. Why don't they have a way to watch it here? Why is it not on the Zone?
I don't know.
It's not on HBO here. It's like a blind spot.
Yeah,
I'm going to reach out to the Zone and tell them that we can't pod about this if they don't have it.
Yeah. We got. I thought I would ask you. The offseason is kind of, these media outlets are starved for news, and sometimes you hear these stories. And I thought we would play a little round of, big deal or no big deal.
Okay.
Or in this case, the first story. What's a bigger deal? Shedeur Sanders getting multiple speeding tickets since joining the Browns, or learning that God talks to Shedeur Sanders at night while he's trying to sleep. Which one is a bigger deal, do you think?
I think just finding out who God's talking to, man, it's huge. It's huge.
I mean, I texted you. I considering all the things that are happening in the world right now,
we need him to help us out.
I'm a little astonished that he has time to even talk to Shedeur Sanders.
I think Shedeur should take advantage of that and help us all out and talk to God a little bit.
That's a good. I didn't think about it from that perspective, that he could be somewhat of an ambassador.
Yes.
For the rest of us.
God will be like, I don't understand you, man. Why are you talking? What the young boy thought, man? Talking like Dion. Let's pass the phone over here, Shedeur. Let me talk to God.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if I want Shedeur Sanders being an ambassador to God, but
I think somebody got to get it across. He might mess. He might. The game of telephone might go way left.
Right. Makes sense.
It's annoying that they entertain this stuff too, man. Like nobody's gonna be like, "That sounds like bullshit." Shedeur. Sounds like bullshit. Like no journalist would do that. But it's like, come on, man.
Also, I think it's like just the amount of. I hate how the media does this because ultimately it's an insult to all of the other players.
Yes.
I mean, here we are, like hovering around a 5th round pick. Who, you know, you can have opinions about why it took so long for him to get selected in the draft, but the reality remains he's just not that good. He may not be that good as an NFL player, and it has nothing to do with who his father is.
Right. And who talks to him in his sleep.
Right.
Like that shouldn't even be brought up into me. I'd be like, a journalist should ask him, do you feel like that's a slight to other players when you say things like that? Like that should be the follow-up question, but it never is.
No.
Irresponsible journalism.
Speaking of irresponsible, the Bengals are in the news for all the wrong reasons, as usual. What's the bigger deal? The fact that they can't even sign their 1st-round pick, Shamar Stewart, or the fact that they can't the 2024 sack leader, Trey Hendrickson?
This is a tough one, man. I was talking to somebody about this. I don't know where I'm at with the Trey Hendrickson thing, man. Because he needs, like, in the run game, he struggles, right? Isn't that how they put it? Or he's not on the field. They have to take him off the field because he's a specialist, basically. So he's going to get you sacks, but then he's not going to help you in the run game. So then the most effective he's going to be is if you're ahead in a game.
Right.
Do I pay somebody top dollar if they're 30 years plus and are only good to me if I'm ahead? Like, then it makes it's understandable. It's a tough one, man. Then it turns into is it responsible as a GM to pay somebody just because it's a sweetheart deal because we love him as a player? And speaking of people talking to God, he's really annoying to listen to. That part too.
I agree that there's some logic to not paying Trey Hendrickson.
Right. It's like
the one that's embarrassing is
type of thing.
The thing with the 1st-round pick is really, it's so both petty and embarrassing because this is all revolving around the fact that the Bengals want to put a clause in his rookie contract that doesn't guarantee his salary, which is kind of a new thing that they're trying to pull off. And Shamar Stewart is essentially, apparently all of his teammates are supporting him, even though they barely know him, because they look at it from the perspective of, if you let them get away with this,
set precedent,
they're going to do this. They're going to do this again to whoever the 1st-round pick is next year.
Yeah.
So this is more about like sticking up for the players kind of thing. And now he's just like flat out left the team.
Oof.
He's like he was there at camp, just not participating. And then when he realized that the talks were going nowhere, he was like, well, I'm just going to leave. And so he's currently not under contract. And it'll be very interesting to see how this thing plays out because
what happens then?
Well, the options are the Bengals could trade him. There's a deadline for them to trade him. It's sometime in early August.
Okay.
I mean, talk about embarrassing. You have to trade your 1st-round pick.
Yeah.
And then even more embarrassing, if this continues, I believe there's a deadline sometime in November where Shamar Stewart could essentially break ties with the Bengals and re-enter the draft for next year.
Oh.
So that's an option.
What if they draft him next year?
They're the only team, like the Bengals would not be able to select him next year.
They're not allowed to. Okay.
Now I don't know if we've ever seen this before. This may be. I think this might be a product of, or the possibility of it happening is really more because these college players are getting paid now, so they're not as desperate as they once were.
Which is good. I think it's a good thing because I did say how I felt about how the line of thinking of the GM, but also fuck them. I don't know. I think the players, I side with the players most of the time, but I do understand where the team will be coming from on the Trey Hendrickson thing. But sometimes you can't win all the deals like that. Sometimes you gotta have a heart, I guess, is one way to put it. But or understand that it works for my team, and with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Higgins, like the team we have on offense, and this offensive-minded coach, we're probably gonna be ahead a lot and need this guy.
Yeah.
So the way it's set up, it makes sense in that way. That's an argument for it, but his Lord and Savior is gonna look out for him though. So there's that.
That's true. Unless he's too busy with Shador Sanders, we'll see.
Yeah, think about that part.
Stephon Diggs on a boat surrounded by hotties, handing out suspicious pink powder type substance when he could be at voluntary minicamp. Big deal or no big deal?
No big deal.
No big deal.
Kind of a deal. It's a deal.
See, here's the thing. I think
the powder
matters.
stuff is like I don't know.
It matters when the key word here is voluntary minicamp. Okay.
Right.
He didn't have to be there. However, the thing that you're doing on video when you could have been at voluntary minicamp makes it, you know what I mean? Like if he was handing out, toys to kids with cancer or something like that, you'd be like, oh man, what a great dude. And also remember, you remember this video that went around years ago when he was on the Vikings and the reporter was asking players in the locker room, of all the players on this team, who would you least want to date your sister? And everyone said Stephon Diggs.
Damn.
Everyone. The first guy was like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, oh, shit, wait, no, Diggs. Definitely Diggs.
I didn't see that. That's hilarious, though.
It's a very funny clip.
Is he giving out powder to his girlfriends?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Kirk Cousins and the potential that he will be a $50 million backup this year. Is that a big deal or no big deal?
A huge deal. Talk about, man, these guys, we got to get in touch with the Lord. We're doing it wrong. Shador Sanders, Trey Hendrickson, and Kirk Cousins, they're all got God's ear. And look at how their life is turning out.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, he's been trying to get out of Atlanta. Obviously, he wants to be a starter somewhere. I honestly am a little impressed with the way the Falcons have handled this, because it's like, look, we've already guaranteed you this money. Like, why would we let you go? You know? And we don't know if Michael Penix is we don't know if Michael Penix is actually that good, and we also don't know if he's going to get hurt or not. And so having a $50 million backup sitting on the sidelines in case Michael Penix gets hurt, a guy who has an injury history, it's like, I'm kind of cool with this, even though it is, from a financial perspective, it's operational malpractice.
I like how you can sugarcoat $50 million backup.
I'm from the A, bro. I'm from the A.
It's not the bad.
We can put sugar on anything in the A, my friend.
Not so bad.
The Lions losing both top coordinators as well as all-pro tackle Frank Ragnow to retirement. Big deal or no big deal?
I think it's a big deal because it's it can make or break the legacy. No, it can enhance the legacy of Dan Campbell. That's what makes it a big deal. Because if they turn out to still be a kick-ass team, don't miss a step, it shows that he's the genius behind it all that had us fooled and thinking he's some knee-biting Neanderthal.
I like that. I like where you're coming from with that.
So that's a big deal there. And then if they have a really bad season, then it was a big deal in that way as well, that they lost so many key parts.
You got some interesting legacy-building narratives in that division this year.
Yeah.
Right? You got the one that you just mentioned. You got Kevin O'Connell, who is being sort of this idea that he can win the quarterback it doesn't matter, right? Josh Dobbs, Sam Darnold, they're like, we're going to roll with JJ McCarthy this year. Like,
he's like Shanahan with a smaller ego.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, Ben Johnson, is he ready? And can he take the so-called generational talent of Caleb Williams and all of the promise that we bought into last year with the Bears? Can he turn that into what it's supposed to be?
Don't forget LaFleur. Don't forget LaFleur over there.
And then everybody forgets LaFleur, like, oh, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
I like LaFleur.
Yeah. Is it time for the next step?
We'll see.
People have been talking about Jordan Love, like ready to break out, and he hasn't had that break.
To me, that's still the most interesting division, in my opinion.
Definitely.
The Bill Belichick girlfriend saga.
I never cared about this, man.
What about the beef between Bill Simmons and journalist Pablo Torre? Big deal or no big deal? Did you see that?
We do not care.
You don't care.
No, I love Bill Simmons, though. What happened?
Well, I just thought it was kind of fascinating because, like, I understand why I thought all the details behind the Belichick. To me, the most fascinating part about this story is, like, we know Bill Belichick as being a master deflector when it comes to the media.
Yes.
Right? We're on to Cincinnati. One, single syllable answer, did you feel like the team could have done this or blah, blah, blah? No. And now he has this girlfriend, and it seems to have just completely unraveled everything we think we know about Bill Belichick and his the way he handles the media. And the thing that kind of kicked this all off that I found the most fascinating was, I don't remember, he was doing some kind of a CBS or I don't know who it was. He's doing an interview to promote the book that he wrote. She was there.
Oh yeah, I did see this. Yeah.
The journalist asked how they met, and the camera pans over to her, and she said, "We're not talking about that."
I saw that.
Which is like, it's so weird because it's like she needs to take lessons from Bill on how to answer these questions. You know what I mean? Because that answer, that non-answer to that question was what cracked this thing open, because everyone was like, hold on, why are we not talking about that? And then this journalist, Pablo Torre, went on an absolute fucking psychotic rabbit hole deep dive, very well sourced. I mean, the amount of, like, he did a whole podcast episode where he breaks down all the things that he learned about their relationship.
What?
Yeah, it's called Pablo Torre Finds Out. It's very fast. It's pretty interesting. I mean, essentially, he finds out that she was 19 when they met.
Ooh,
which is not technically illegal, but it's like, ew.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be divided by 2 + 7. That's the rule we all know.
There's a lot of other really embarrassing details about her trying to insert herself into a Super Bowl commercial that had Bill Belichick in it.
Wow.
And he reached out and spoke to some people who worked on the actual film crew who filmed the commercial. And there's a story about her leaving set, coming back in a bikini. She had written a role for herself to be in the background of this commercial. And the guy who shot the commercial says, we set up the camera and we pointed it at her, but it may or may not have been rolling. Like, it's basically like they made her think that she was going to be in it, but she wasn't in it.
Wow.
Anyway, it's kind of interesting, and she does seem a little psychotic. And it's fascinating that this guy that we think we know in this particular way is now,
once they put it on you, though.
It's the power of the P, my friend.
The power of the P, USSY. Once that cat wrap around that D.
And then the beef between Pablo Torre and Bill Simmons started because Bill Simmons,
of course,
basically was kind of coming at it from a Patriots
He's a homer. Yeah.
perspective, and he was trying to say, like, this is stupid. Why is this even a story? And in the process of criticizing the story, he kind of criticized Pablo Torre's journalistic integrity.
Okay.
Now, to be fair,
And he's got a huge platform.
Bill Simmons invited Pablo Torre onto his podcast to discuss it.
Oh.
Which that was also an interesting listen as well. But it's kind of funny because it sort of
He
turned
had
me
him
off.
on?
He had the two of them are on talking about it.
Okay. I gotta listen to this.
It kind of got me off. It turned me off of Bill Simmons a little bit because you can feel
biased.
his homerism.
Yeah.
He's basically coming at it from the perspective of like, this is a dumb story that people shouldn't care about. He was accusing Pablo Torre of like dining out, doing a media tour, all this kind of stuff. Or as Pablo Torre was like, look, if people didn't care, we wouldn't have done this story.
Right.
And you're talking about a guy like Bill Simmons. It's like, you do entire podcasts where you rewatch movies.
Yes.
Why should anybody care about that?
He's got one about this guy getting scammed about wedding. He did a whole podcast series about a wedding scammer.
I felt like it showed Bill Simmons' ignorance in the moment. I'm not saying
not the first time. I had a real issue when during the whole Black Lives Matter movement during the pandemic, and him and Ryan, whatever his name, Russillo, were talking, and they live in Beverly Hills. They were sitting in Beverly Hills and complaining about the march going on, and these two rich dudes complaining about people tearing up or like destroying or marching around or whatever. It was so tone deaf at the moment of like the people protesting, and you're sitting in your mansion recording a podcast complaining about they're gonna make it to the mall, man. If they fuck up the mall, man, these people, it's like, whoa, pump your brakes, take a little step back, and it seems like it's the same type of thing, man.
What if they burn down Spagos? Oh my God.
Exactly. That's what they sounded like. And I was like, bruh, this isn't a good look, man. I got so disgusted that I turned it off. And then later he got in hot water about it. So I was like, I wasn't the only one that was bothered by it. I thought I was being sensitive. I was like, man, am I sensitive? I can't listen to this right now. And then all of a sudden everybody's complaining. He comes out and apologizes for it. So,
I mean, look, the episode where Pablo Torre does the deep dive on the whole thing is pretty fascinating. If for no other reason than just to kind of admire his obsession and his craft and how he goes all in to try to figure out these different things. And then the beef and the conversation between him and Bill Simmons, I thought was quite fascinating as well.
It's gonna fill out my week, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My final question.
Okay.
Rumors about culture issues in Miami. Big deal or no big deal?
I think to be seen. Because last year, this could be a good sign for Miami. This is me doing my Atlanta Sugar thing. Last year, this time of year.
Except for you, it's Miami. You're putting cocaine on it.
I'm putting
that booger sugar on it.
I'm putting booger sugar on this one, man. That's hilarious. When you think about it, what team was having culture issues last season, huh? What team were they talking about this coach might not make it to mid-season? What team was it that they were wondering what's going on? Is he too removed? Is his coaching style too removed and too soft for today's NFL? Or is it too new school to be an actual winner? What coach was this, man?
So you are trying, this sounds like some cocaine logic. You were trying to convince me that
each individual coach,
culture
each
issues,
individual player,
translates to Super Bowls.
Hey, man, we just saw it. You got to go with recent history. So basically, this story, yes, this is a big deal. This is a big deal because this means Miami is going to actually win the Super Bowl. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
So earlier in the episode, you had them in the AFC Championship game, which obviously naturally leads. I mean, that is part of the road to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and now that we've thrown a little booger sugar on the situation, now we got them winning their first Super Bowl in how many years? 50 years?
Man. Something like that. Maybe exactly 52 years, something like that.
Yeah. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because it was cool when I'm starting to get tired of it myself, honestly. Candidly, as a Dolphins fan, I'm starting to get tired of it myself because it's got to be wins. I did think about it today though, because I wake up in the morning, I think about the Dolphins. I did think about today, and I thought about that I might be going too harsh because I was like, this should be the end of Mike McDaniel if they don't do more. They got to get into the playoffs. They got to do more than just be front runners at the beginning of the season and unable to adjust and all that stuff. But then I thought, and also like your quarterback goes down, he's been going down. How are you going to adjust? But last season I forgot that Tua got hurt and then the backup got hurt immediately. So they had to bring somebody off the street. It was a 6-game warp of like, what the fuck? So losing your starting quarterback is one thing, but losing starting and backup and pulling somebody off the street is another thing. So I don't.
Yeah, but now don't you have Zach Wilson in the building?
Exactly. So that's just this is victories right there. I don't know if Tua's job is safe, but I was really. I think he's got to prove it. It's like he's got to prove it. I'm not rooting for him to. I don't want him out. I don't want him in. Obviously, for me, the best case scenario is it does work. So we don't have to start over as a team. But also, if it doesn't work, he got to go because it's obviously that stuff's not working.
As a neutral fan, I want him in the league. I just think he's too fascinating and funny. He was asked about this recently, and he said something that we need to put on our soundboard.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard this quote.
I don't know.
I don't remember what the exact question was, but they were asking about these culture issues. Like, what do you think about this stuff? And he said, well, honestly, I don't give a fuck what I think. And you shouldn't either. Like, it doesn't matter what I think.
Wow.
What matters is like what I'm doing to help the team do. I don't know if it was the culture issues or if it was about Tyreek. It might have been something else. But he had this like really, really funny where he's like, I don't give a fuck what I think. It's like,
but that stuff is great when you're winning, man. When you're winning, we can end up coming out firing on all cylinders and everything looking great, Tua healthy. And then all of this will be just forgotten. But then you come out losing and all gets magnified.
Yeah, because it felt like 2 years ago, there was a new Mike McDaniel quote like every week. And last year, I feel like we didn't hear anything about him. Like you didn't hear any fun quotes or like cool say. Like the league just kind of got tired of him, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like it gets tiring after with losses, and when it looks like you can't adjust. In the game, it's like you got figured out and you can't adjust, then it's like, why do I need to listen to you? That's what it comes down to.
Well, I look forward to the Falcons versus Dolphins Super Bowl. That's going to be a big moment for us.
Yes. We're talking about it. The Dolphins are playing in Madrid this year, right? Is it Madrid?
Yeah.
And they're playing the Commanders. And Sean and I were talking about going, and then it's like, this whole Ticketmaster bullshit. Fuck Ticketmaster. We need that on the soundboard. Fuck Ticketmaster. But we were saying that the only time we would get in line and try to pretend that we're going to have an opportunity to get a ticket amongst the scalpers is if it were Dolphins-Falcons. That would make me get in line.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we play each other in the regular season, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have been the game, man, in Madrid. But yeah, we're going to watch that together.
For sure.
I might film it. I might film us watching that together.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Depends. I was thinking Hard Rock, but we'll see. All right, man. Is that it?
That is it. It's time
Still
for
no
summer.
Jalen Ramsey update.
Still no Jalen Ramsey update. We still don't know what's up with that.
I hope he stays on my team.
Yeah. In a couple of weeks will be off to America.
Yeah,
We'll see if they allow my whole family in the country.
they will.
Yeah, I'm ready. 73 days till football.
And I'm gonna get into my books and my notes and break down every coaching staff in the NFL. So stay tuned for that, y'all. It's coming soon. Enjoy your summers, y'all. We'll be back throughout periodically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Emergency
Thanks. Yeah, we might have some emergency pods. It might happen. If we fuck around and we get a Jalen Ramsey update or something like that, I could come on and y'all can hear me crying and shit. What about my team? I don't give a fuck what I think. But thank y'all for checking it out. We'll be back periodically. Stay tuned. This has been SveNFL. I'm Jonathan Rollins.
Skip Mizara.
With SveNFL. Peace.
Later, y'all.